came across this small waterproof container holding 5 metal tubes, each about 1.75 inches long and an eighth of an inch in diameter. The tubes are half filled with an unknown substance and cushioned by foam at the bottom of the case. It was found in a collapsed stone wall in France, estimated to be around 100 years old. Does anyone know what these tubes were used for? The small tubes you found are non-electric blasting caps, used as detonators for explosives. They were designed to set off a larger charge and were widely used in the mid-20th century, particularly during World War II and in the years that followed. Inside each cap is a small ignition charge, typically made from compounds such as lead styphnate and barium chromate, which provided the spark needed to trigger the main explosive. The waterproof and shock-resistant container you discovered was essential for keeping the detonators safe and stable, especially in demanding environments like construction sites, quarries, or military operations. I found these small ceramic-looking pieces scattered around a country estate in Sussex. There are about 100 of them in total. Does anyone know what they are? What you found are pieces of ceramic tumbling media, which are used in vibratory or rotary tumblers to clean and finish metal parts. Their purpose is to smooth surfaces, remove sharp edges, polish or prepare parts for further coating or assembly. The unique triangular shape helps them reach into corners and tight spaces during the tumbling process. Ceramic tumbling media has been widely used in industries such as metalworking, jewelry making, and manufacturing since the mid-20th century. By mixing these media pieces with parts in a tumbling machine, manufacturers could achieve consistent finishing results much more efficiently than by hand. I came across this reflective metal plate and a matching metal stick, each with a hole to look through. They were stored in the emergency kit of a 1972 Danish sailing boat, along with flares and other survival gear. Does anyone know what these were used for? What you found is a signal mirror with a sighting device, designed for use in maritime emergency situations. This particular type was manufactured in Germany, as indicated by the word Fabrik on the label, most likely in Augsburg, a well-known industrial center. The signal mirror was a critical part of survival kits carried on boats and aircraft throughout much of the 20th century. Unlike an ordinary mirror, it includes a small companion piece, the narrow stick with a hole, that serves as a sighting aid. To use it, you would hold the mirror so it reflects sunlight, look through the hole in the sighting stick, and then align the reflected beam with your target. This ensured the bright flash of light could be aimed with surprising precision, clearly visible for miles across the water. The flash could even be manipulated in short and long bursts to send Morse code messages. I found this unusual tool with gouge points on both ends of the blade. The handle appears to be brass, and the blade is stamped Hunkins-Willis, St. Louis, Germany, with a nautical symbol on the reverse side. One end of the blade folds to protect one of the points. It was discovered at the bottom of an antique machinist's chest I purchased. The tool you found is a timber scribe, also known as a race knife. It was commonly used in the late 18th and 19th centuries for marking or scribing wood in trades such as carpentry, lumbering, shipbuilding, and barrel making. The sharp gouge points were designed to carve durable marks directly into the timber, which would not fade like chalk or pencil. The nautical symbol stamped on the blade suggests it may have been used in maritime carpentry or shipbuilding, where accurate marking was critical for fitting planks and beams. In other trades, timber scribes were used to record ownership marks, measurements, or assembly notations. For example, barrel makers used them to mark staves so they could be assembled in the correct order. I found this set of brass tools from 1772 in a black textured case, along with a ruler marked with scales and tables. Does anyone know what these instruments were used for? What you found is an antique drafting set from 1772, used for technical drawing, geometry, and architectural or engineering work. These sets contained precision instruments such as compasses, dividers, ruling pens, and proportional tools, all stored neatly in a fitted case. The ruler with scales and conversion tables was an essential part of the kit, helping with measurements and calculations. The case itself is covered in shagreen, a textured material made from shark or ray skin, which was fashionable in the 18th century for high-quality instrument cases. The inscription with the name and date indicates the original owner and adds to its historical value. Sets like this were treasured possessions for craftsmen, architects and engineers, as they represented both status and technical skill. While cleaning, I came across this heavy tool with a sliding handle that moves up and down the shaft. The head looks designed to clamp onto something and pull it out. Can anyone tell me what it's for? The tool you found is a nail and staple puller, designed to make removing fasteners quick and efficient. The heavy sliding handle works almost like a built-in hammer. By driving the head into the wood beside a nail or staple, the jaws are forced underneath. Once the head locks around the fastener, the long body and sidearm provide the leverage needed to pry it out smoothly. Tools of this type became popular in the early 20th century, when mass-produced nails and staples were widely used in construction and furniture making. I came across this large metal cylinder washed up on the beach in Husavik, Iceland. It's completely sealed, heavily rusted, and has several round fixtures along its surface. What you found is a Soviet-era sonar listening buoy, also known as a sonobuoy. These devices were developed for naval use to detect underwater sounds, such as those produced by submarines or ships. Once deployed into the ocean, the buoy would release hydrophones, specialized underwater microphones that captured sound waves beneath the surface. The information was then transmitted by radio back to aircraft or ships monitoring the area. Husavik, located along the North Atlantic, was a strategic region where both NATO and Soviet forces operated, making it very possible for discarded or lost equipment like this to wash ashore. I found this glass tube with sterling silver end cap stamped Empire Sterling. I was told it might be a letter tube, but I haven't been able to find anything similar. The caps seem like they can come off, but I haven't managed to remove them. What you found is a sterling silver and glass certificate holder, sometimes called a christening or birth certificate tube. These were popular gifts in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and were designed to store important documents such as birth certificates, baptism records, or even wedding certificates. This tool was donated to our museum without any identifying information. It has a solid wooden handle and a heavy metal head with 2 curved prongs. Does anyone know what it is? The tool you've received is known as a picaroon, sometimes called a hookaroon. It was traditionally used in lumber yards and sawmills to move and handle logs. The curved, pointed prongs of the head were designed to bite into the wood, allowing workers to pull, push, or roll heavy logs with far less effort. Tools like this became especially common in the 19th and early 20th centuries, both in North America and Europe. They were essential for loggers who relied on them to maneuver timber safely and efficiently. I found this silver metal sphere with holes that can be unhinged and opened. Does anyone know what it's used for? What you found is a vintage French rice cooker ball, sometimes called a rice cooking sphere or infusion ball. Made of aluminum, it was designed to hold rice or other ingredients while being placed directly into a pot of boiling water. The small holes allowed water to circulate freely through the sphere, cooking the rice evenly while keeping it contained. This type of utensil was especially practical because it made it easy to lift the rice out of the water all at once without the need to strain it through a separate colander. I found this small sterling silver pot, about 4 to 5 inches wide. The parts seem to stack together and the lid has a notch in it. Does anyone know what this was used for? What you found is a sterling silver sugar bowl with a lid. The notch in the lid is designed to allow a spoon to rest inside the bowl while keeping it covered. This was a common feature in sugar bowls from formal tea and coffee sets, making it easy to serve sugar without removing the lid entirely. The extra middle piece you have is not part of the original sugar bowl set. It looks like a separate item, likely a spoon rest or a small holder for a tea infuser or tea bag, which would have been placed on the table to keep linens clean. I found this heavy metal object in the woods behind my girlfriend's house. It's about 10 inches in diameter and quite solid. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is an old Toledo torch, a type of road flare once used for traffic safety before modern flashing lights and reflective markers became common. These torches were heavy round metal canisters filled with fuel, designed to burn with a bright, visible flame. Road crews placed them along highways, at construction sites, or near hazards to warn approaching drivers, especially at night. I came across this spring-loaded claw tool while packing for a move. Does anyone know what it's used for? What you found is a spring-loaded claw grabber, a small tool designed for picking up items from tight or hard-to-reach spaces. When you press the button at the top, the claw extends and opens, and when you release it, the claw closes around the object. These tools were commonly marketed as olive or ice grabbers, making it easy to pick up small food items at the table without using your fingers. At the same time, they became popular in workshops and garages, where mechanics used them to retrieve screws, bolts, or other small parts that had fallen into cramped spaces. This marble figurine has been in my family since the 1880s, passed down through several generations. It depicts a man and has always been used as a wall ornament. The figurine is about 7 inches tall and seems to be of East Asian origin. There are no inscriptions, but the back looks like it may have once been part of a larger piece. Can anyone help identify its origin or purpose? What you have is a figure of Tia Guai Li, one of the 8 immortals in Chinese mythology. He's recognized by his unusual appearance and his crutch, and he represents resilience and healing. The cloud-shaped base indicates that it was once part of a larger piece depicting all 8 immortals together. Sets like these were displayed as decorative ornaments in Chinese households, symbolizing health, longevity, and prosperity. In the last video, I asked you to identify this terracotta piece with sunflower designs on each end. This item is a taco holder. The grooves are made to keep tacos upright. I really appreciate everyone who shared their guesses in the comments. It helps the video reach more people and allows the channel to grow. Now I want to invite you to identify another unusual object. This brass cylinder has a threaded cap, numbers from 1 to 12 engraved on the end, and a rotating wheel. What do you think it was used for? Leave your guesses in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and lets more people discover the channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.